Hi, did you know that Africa and Europe are only 14 kilometers apart from each other? You can actually stand in Europe, and this is Spain, and you see Africa across the Mediterranean or the Strait of Gibraltar. This is the one that separates Europe and Africa. It is separated by only about 14 kilometers. So in my recent video about Spain and Spain owning territories in Africa, that is Ceuta and Melilla, someone commented and said that Europe was broken away from Africa, and it is a high time Africa we are going to wake up and take back what belongs to us. So I decided to go ahead and research about this issue. Was really Europe separated from Africa by human beings, or it was something else? And this is what I found out. Oh, before I go any further, make sure please, if you haven't yet subscribe to my channel, I kindly request that you subscribe to my channel. Support me. I'm a stay-home mom. I'm looking forward to earning a living by doing content, so please, I request for your humble support. Subscribe to my channel. I'll be bringing for you historical content, geographical content, and many more stuff. Whatever interests you, kindly support my channel. It is a kindly request, and like, share, comment, and tell me what I should talk about, where I should improve. Open to ideas. Thank you so much. Africa and Europe are separated by the Mediterranean Sea and the narrow Strait of the Gibraltar. So but before that, these two were connected by land, and what brought about is separation is a geographical factor. Africa and Europe are still moving. They were moving before, a million years ago, and even today are still moving. The tectonic plates of the earth is moving. You know, the earth, they say that the earth is round, so it is moving round. So because of the round movements, this factor brought about the division of Europe and Africa. The African plate has been moving northward toward the Eurasian plate. These enormous geological movements gradually shaped the Mediterranean region and the areas around it. Around 5.9 million years ago, the connection between the Atlantic and the Mediterranean Sea became completely restricted. This caused the Mediterranean to lose enormous amounts of water due to evaporation. It is said that the Mediterranean Sea, almost some parts became dry, and the water of the Mediterranean became very salty. Just imagine standing where the Mediterranean Sea is today, and you're seeing a very huge dry land. So that was what happened like 5.9 million years ago, about those years. So how did the connection come again? How did the Mediterranean get the water again? So this is what happened. Because of this tectonic Earth's movement, the tectonic plates, the movement of the earth, it caused the Atlantic to come again and flow into the Mediterranean. The water of the Atlantic flowed again into the Mediterranean Sea. So that is how the land between Europe and Africa was covered. The Atlantic Ocean flowed into the Mediterranean Sea, and the Mediterranean now was able to get water. That is about 5.3 million years ago. So the Mediterranean got water again. So this is how the Strait of the Gibraltar between Europe and Africa comes about. So this is how it all comes about. That is why there is that narrow gap between Europe and Africa. Initially it was land, but because of the movement of the earth, the Mediterranean was able to get water again. I hope you understand. Even though that happened, the Strait of the Gibraltar did not stop people from moving from Europe to Africa or from Africa to Europe. People still move until today. They still move until today for different purposes, trade, exploration, so many things. they still move. So the Mediterranean became one of the most important cross points that we have in the world today. So this takes us back to the other video I did about Spain having territories in Africa. By the way, it is not only Spain that is having territories in Africa. Even France has a territory in Africa. Yes, it is said that they voted to stay part of France. So it brings back that it takes us back to that place. I think one of the reasons why Ceuta and Melilla is part of Spain, it now makes sense that these Europe and Africa were one and then they were separated because of nature. It now makes sense why these two cities remained part of Spain. Because when you look at the map, I've not been to North Africa, neither have I been to Europe, or probably there are some there and see for myself. But when you look at the map, these two, Spain and Morocco, Ceuta, Melilla, they are so close to each other, like they are almost touching. Like the distance between the two countries, these countries is very, very small. So it makes a lot of sense why Ceuta and Melilla are still part of Spain. It is because even before the separation of these two continents, these Ceuta and Melilla were part of Spain. But now people, the colonialists used this advantage of this separation to create political boundaries between continents. Yes, they created political boundaries between continents which were never there in the first place. I hope you guys understand. Thank you. So was Africa really cut off from Europe by humans? I think now we all know the answer is no. Africa was not cut off by any human person. It was nature that cut it off. I think one day we are going to wake up and we find Uganda is in North Africa and North Africa is in East Africa because of this earth's movement. You never know what can happen. You never know what can happen. You never know what can happen. I can't wait to find myself in some other part of the world, you know, because of Earth's movements. So it was never cut off by any human person. It was because of the Earth's movement. And it is said that they are still moving. They say the Earth rotates. So that is what happened. Political boundaries are the ones that were created by human beings. Finally, the next time you look at the map and you see Europe and Africa, just know that these two were not separated by humans. It was a geological separation, and these two are so close to each other. Like you can literally stand in Europe and you see Africa, or you can stand in Africa and you see Europe. That is how so close they are, 14 kilometers apart. So if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you comment, you like, you share your thoughts about this information, and also make sure you subscribe to my YouTube for more videos like this, history, geography, and the fascinating things about Africa and about my country, Uganda. I love you. Bye bye. Thank you for watching.